Welcome in, everybody. It's the coach. This is Madden 20 on EA Sports. Up next, we've got what ought to be a great matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll be back with you again with scores around the league at halftime. But kickoff right around the corner. And standing by to call the action, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, it's the NFL on EA Sports as you take a look there at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, PA. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. With Charles Davis, as always, I'm Brandon Godden. And Charles, you talk about storylines in this one. I think it begins and ends with our two quarterbacks, certainly two of the best in the business.
And nowadays, I don't think you can get by for long periods of time without a top-flight quarterback. The way the game is played, with all the responsibility he has and how the game flows through him, if he's not on the top of his game, your team's not going to benefit at all.
The final playoff push is upon us. It's Week 12 of the NFL season, and we're underway on EA Sports. This one taken from the 7. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. So here comes the Packers offense now onto the field. They'll be led out by the former Cal Bear, Aaron Rodgers.
And I thought it was a really nice performance last week by him. 3 touchdown passes. I think that signifies exactly what he was getting done. He did have the 1 interception.
But that's the ratio you say you're okay with, right?
If you go 3-to-1, you're going to be pretty happy over the course of the season. And let's face it, he'll never blame the receiver publicly. But behind closed doors, he probably told his agent, hey, what's the deal? I should have had a perfect game.
Now the man from UTEP, this is Aaron Jones. And he's got a good gain of 7 up to the 37. The numbers for Jones last week, he was, without a doubt, one of the catalysts in that victory.
And he can really be the glue that makes this offense go, because when defenders have to commit to stopping him, that just opens up more opportunities in the passing game.
On second down, it's Jones. And to the 42-yard line here and brought down there. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down. Rodgers now on first down. And he's got his man on the out route. And he gets this to the other side of midfield across the 45 before going out. 14 yards, good for a Packer first down. So from Philadelphia territory now, here's a 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line. And he's going to get stopped up quickly. Give him a yard down to the 43. And now the offensive starters for the Packers.
It's tough to be an offensive lineman in Green Bay because their quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, knows how to keep plays alive and often extends them for 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds. But David Bakhtiari, his left tackle, he does it as well as anyone could ever expect. excellent footwork, knows that the plays are going to stay alive for a long time, often will get 2 or 3 blocks on the same play.
Rodgers' throw is taken in by Jones. And he's going to get this down near the 30-yard line. And he has another first down as they'll get the ball down to the Eagles' 30.
Nice methodical opening drive here. They're already into field goal range. They're in a good spot. You know that people like to take a shot in this part of the field. But at the same time, as methodical as they've been, they might want to run the ball a little bit here too.
And just on the outskirts of the red zone, they have options now. Either way, though, they've come out with a purpose. A gain of 4 on the play, and it's a second down. For the Eagles, a look now at the starters on the defensive side of the ball. They've been very good against the pass so far this year. Number 4 in the NFL right now.
And I'm struggling a little bit trying to really categorize this crew. They're top 10 in the league against the pass, but the bottom half of the league in sacking the quarterback. That doesn't make sense. Imagine if this group ever put pressure on the QB, they'd easily move into the top 5.
4 yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6. Now Rodgers. And that is incomplete. A lot of force bearing down on him there. He could not hang on. It's 3rd down.
Even the greats in this game, and he certainly qualifies as one of them, they're going to have trouble if they continue to throw into double coverage.
And he better be careful. Throwing into too much double coverage might have a couple of them picked off. Here comes the 7th play of this opening drive. They've moved it well, but here's 3rd down. Rodgers again now. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Brandon Graham applying the... heat off the edge. So on now for the Packers is their all-time leading scorer, Mason Crosby. On the left hash, this from 48 yards. And this one is right down the middle. And the Packers are off to a 3-0 lead. Able to move the ball on that drive. Yes, just 3 points, but 4 first downs were in there.
Yeah, and you can look at it and feel pretty good about the whole thing and think, okay, this should continue throughout this ball game. On the flip side, if you're a defender, it's almost like we only gave up 3. They moved the ball on us pretty well.
So now here comes the Eagles offense as they get ready to take over. As we get a peek at the number 2 overall pick from the 2016 draft, standing at 6'5", Carson Wentz.
There's a lot of good to watch in the game last week, wasn't there? I mean, he did throw 2 touchdown passes. That was impressive. And he's so close, isn't he? The 3 interceptions killed him and his team. That was costly. But if he just cleans that up a little bit, there's a reason for optimism with this team and this passer.
They will run for the first time with Miles Sanders. And they're able to get this one across the 35. It's a gain of 13 and a first down for Philadelphia. Another good run there for a guy who, remember, on Wednesday was named NFC Offensive Player of the Week for what he did a week ago.
Yeah, and you know it takes some solid runs and some extra special ones in order to win that type of an award. I think he's locked in and wants to get it done a second time.
To throw, it's Wentz. He'll find Taylor. That's complete. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
To throw again on 2nd down. Wentz. It's caught by Jackson. And this is going to result in another first down as the tackle's made at the Packers' 40.
Now that was pretty. They executed that curl route versus zone coverage, and that changes things a little bit because against man, it's often a tight curl, a sharply run route. Against zone, you're just looking for that open spot, that dead area, so you make curl a little bit wider just to get to that place.
And usually a tight window. He fired a bullet in there for the completion. It's an Eagles first down on a gain of 11. If you start assessing what went wrong last week, Charles, in their loss, had nothing to do with the ground game. They ran it well.
And you also have to say to yourself as a team, don't go away from what worked. That's not the reason the game was lost. Running the football over time, when you do it consistently, usually translates into wins.
And they're open to do it consistently here. The numbers for Sanders last week: 4 touchdowns, 2 rushing, 2 receiving.
So deuce is wild, huh?
Absolutely.
Probably should have gotten 2 checks for this game, right? One for the running backs, one for the wide receivers. Could carry home a nice little pile of cash.
from the 22. Wentz. It's brought in by Jeffrey. And brought down, but not before they get it inside the 10 to the 7. An Eagle first down. Wentz hooking up with Jeffrey.
His passing's been on point on this drive, hasn't it? Been very accurate, gotten the ball downfield, gained nice chunks of yardage. But now, in this situation, the field is really condensed, partner. So if he's going to throw the football, that could be pinpoint here.
I was going to ask you about that. Field shrinks, has to be sharper, but it's been a good opening drive so far.
Now they just want to see if they can cap it off with the bell ringer and put it in the end zone.
I don't think it's a surprise they're throwing the football early. We expected that. They told us they were going to come out firing, but 4 for 4 on the opening drive. They like that.
They don't just like it. They love it because now everyone gets locked in. The confidence jumps up. Everyone's easy about what they're doing out there. And by the way, they're looking at the sideline thinking to themselves and expressing, let's keep throwing it. We're doing pretty well. Not only was that a terrific play, but that loss of yardage they created this close to their own goal line, that gives them a little breathing room now as they move them back.
And they're breathing fire a little bit right now, aren't they?
A lot of confidence being shown by them at this point of the game.
What a stand so far defensively, and now that's going to bring up a 4th and goal. Defense didn't budge on 3rd down. Now what are we going to see on 4th?
We are soon to find out, but does this feel like old school football or what, right?
Yeah.
It's an old-fashioned goal line stand. I know what I would call on offense. I would go for it. I want some type of a play where my quarterback has a chance to run it or throw it. I don't just want one static play.
Each team with a possession, each team with a field goal as the kick is away. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. The Green Bay offense now about ready to take possession here. And it's only November, but the playoffs, we know how it works. They'll be here before you know it. If it ended today, they would be the #1 seed.
And that's a great spot to be in, but I love the phrase, if it ended today. And I'll guarantee you, that's what they've discussed in their locker room, in their meeting rooms. Yeah, we know where we'd be if it ended today, but we also know it's not ending today.
Right.
So they've got to continue to play the type of ball that put them in the spot where they're #1 in their conference.
He'll get this to his tight end. It's Jonnu Smith. 11 yards and a Green Bay Packer first down.
There are so many things to watch for when you play defense. And reading your keys, you always hear about that, and having your eyes in the right place. Sometimes your eyes can fool you. How about that play action there? And it sprang the big guy, didn't it?
Able to dump it over the top to him. Now a man open down the middle of the field. That throw good for 4. It's 2nd down. We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team because, #1, you throw the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn into a bigger gain. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield.
No gain that time on the completion, and it'll be 3rd down.
Brandon, just mark that under the category of just not successful. Trying to throw the ball, just didn't work on that one.
Completed it. No yardage. Here's Rodgers. He's got Smith here. And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. And he has another first down as they'll get the ball down to the Eagles' 44-yard line.
When this offense can get their tight ends involved, they can move the football. Here, a nice route, able to look it in, and picks up the first down.
Rodgers will bring him up to the line, 1st and 10. And he's 4 for 4 now, throwing the ball to start the drive. Off the play fake to Jones. Here's Rodgers. Now look out, Rodgers lost the football.
On plays like this, when the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back. Because this is the quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
The first down play, to be frank, nothing short of awful, and now they have to deal with 2nd and very long. Rodgers going to throw. And this one complete to Smith.
Partner, it's a lot of fun watching the NFL now, isn't it? Because when the big fella runs routes, it used to be when we were kids, he'd run about 3 different routes, and that was it. Now he can run anything and catch the balls we just saw there.
Rodgers looking to throw on 3rd and 2. He's got the hook up to Lazard. And he has another first down as they'll get the ball down to the Eagles' 20-yard line.
But give the defensive guys a little bit of credit. They didn't let the deep ball beat them on that play, did they?
No, the drag, that guy can be your safety valve. We saw it right there.
Yeah, and it picked up a first down for him, too.
Throwing is Rodgers. To the goal line, but it's incomplete.
Once you get into the red zone and the safeties have less ground to cover, you better be quick with your delivery. Not much space to get a ball in there.
Yeah, when that field shrinks with those safeties, it's almost like there's a couple extra defenders out there, right?
It certainly is. They end up taking up extra space just because there's not enough space for receivers to run through.
And not even back to the line of scrimmage this time as they're on him quickly once more. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here. And it'll be a 3rd and about 13.
Count me as a little bit surprised by what we just saw there, because this has been a pretty long drive, and normally you think that wears down a defense. In this case, looked like the offensive line let them down a little bit.
They allowed the penetration and the ability to stuff him for a loss. Complete to Jones. And he's going to come up well short as they rally up to stop him at about the 16. It's a gain of 6 on the play, and it'll be 4th down.
One hallmark of good defenses is understanding the game, understanding positioning, and tackling immediately in the secondary after catches. I think we just saw that on display right there.
Got to him before he ever had a chance to think about turning it upfield. A dozen plays on that drive that ends with the field goal.
Let's go ahead and break out some of the old chestnuts here, right, partner? Keep the ball in front, rally to it, and make the tackle, right? No big plays given up, no balls over your head. Bend, don't break.
Hold on. Chestnuts?
Come
on. Well, what does that mean, break out? That just because you break. Chestnuts?
I'm not sure about that, but I'm just going with why they said that. I have no idea.
Philadelphia getting set to take the field. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points. But you also have to remember they did put points on the board.
3 points is 3.
This league, you take points when you can get them. Not easily done.
Terrific run from one of the fastest backs in the game today. A guy who keeps defensive coordinators up at night, no doubt.
Remember when we were meeting with the D coordinator before the game, and all he talked about was run fits, making sure our guys were in the right place so there were no creases?
They missed their fits, didn't they?
Yeah, there was no fit there. The only fit was at the end when he threw his headset down after that big run.
9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1. On 2nd and 1, Wentz, and he finds his tight end. It's Ertz. And on this one, he'll get to the 15, right at the 15-yard line. 4 yards the pickup, 1st down. Wentz going to lead his guys up 1st and 10. And he's a perfect 5 for 5 here to begin the game. Play fake to Sanders. Now here's Wentz. Got a man open. It's Ertz. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Zach Ertz, his first touchdown on the year. And once again, the Eagles are back out in front. And he's such a talented tight end, just creates nightmarish tight matchups on the other side.
He's so good that when we say tight end, we're almost damning him with faint praise, aren't we? Because he can do it all. He's as good as any receiver in the NFL.
Well, that's the deal. He's a wide receiver, just in a bigger body.
Bigger body, a matchup nightmare, and who's going to cover him? When I sit in the film session, I just look at the coach and say, really? Really? You going to yell at me? You go cover him.
Rodgers will break the huddle and bring the pack up 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. They'll start the drive with a carry by Jones. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. 31 yards there and a 1st down.
At this stage of the game, the run-pass numbers are a little bit out of whack because most of the yardage has come through the air. But in a sense, that just sets things up for big runs like that because the defense might be a little bit off balance. They pick up another first down with that run.
So the big play gets him across midfield now for 1st and 10.
Go to 50. Hey, you block over here. 53. Check 53.
Now a play fake. Rodgers. Rush coming, and he's taken down. Fletcher Cox, the former Mississippi State Bulldog, ringing the cowbell there on the sack.
I'm starting to feel for that quarterback back there. I mean, you know me. Normally, don't have a lot of empathy for the QB, right? In this case, definitely he's been on constant duress this entire game. I don't know how he's surviving back there.
And to think, there's still a long way to go in this football game. On play action, now Rodgers. Complete, Smith has it. And he has another first down as they'll get the ball down to the Eagles' 26.
The goal for any offense versus his own defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball in the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route. Now a first down carry by Jones. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
From the 24, Rodgers. He gets this to Davante Adams. They get him to the ground right on the cusp of the red zone after a pickup of 5 or 6. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target. He's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did.
And we remind you, coming up at the half, we'll join who, Charles?
The coach.
The coach, Jonathan Coachman, standing by in Orlando. He'll have stats and scores from games in progress, as well as scores from earlier today.
The coach.
We get slap happy up here sometimes. And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete.
When you got your backs in the shadow of your goal line, you've got to be physical in that situation because there's not a whole lot of space, not a lot of wild plays that can be run there.
It's put up or shut up time. Defensively, nice job just to make sure they didn't complete it on that play. And he'll keep working toward that end zone as he's down to about the 2-yard line. They've been denied touchdowns in the red zone twice already. Here comes 3rd and goal.
Watch the twins. 53's the mic. 53. Check 53. Come on, baby. Let's see what you got. Back north.
Snap comes at 1. And it's caught. Well, this is going to depend on the spot, but it's not a very generous one. He looks to be about a yard or so short. The Eagles going to take the first of their timeouts. So as they take it over, we step aside. The offense is staying out there. Here we go on 4th and goal from the 1.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Check 53. Check 53.
They'll go for it. It's Rodgers. Got a man open. It's Adams. Touchdown, Green Bay. Davante Adams. His 14th touchdown now on the year. And the Packers have retaken the lead.
I wonder if he changed anything on his play sheet or they just executed better? Because they had 2 previous drives that ended in field goals. Before this one, they finally were able to put into the end zone.
Well, whatever he did, speaking of the offensive coordinator, might be using that formula going forward. It worked there.
Yeah, it worked very well. He and his field general in pretty good sync right now. They're starting to move the ball well.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Here's the Philadelphia offensive unit now as they head out to take over possession. It was still more than a minute to go in the half. Time to try to mount a drive.
And I would think that they would have to. This is today's NFL. You got to push it whenever you get an opportunity. You can never have enough points with the high-powered offenses that you face. And analytics will tell you, try and score when given the opportunity.
They only got a yard out of that last completion, and that makes us 2nd and 9. Now Wentz. Oh, the rookie nearly had the pick. Probably should have had it. 3rd down now.
It's been my observation there's been a nice variety of play calling defensively. You and I often talk about an offense's ability to keep a defense off balance with what they're doing. I think the converse has been true in this game.
I think you're right. They seem to have gone off tendency quite a bit, but only the 2nd quarter. A lot of time to change things. That's caught by Jackson. The Packers going to use one of their timeouts as the clock stops here with 46 seconds remaining in the first half. On 4th down, here's Sam Martin on to kick it away. And this is away. It's a high kick, and he got all of it. And this will hit just beyond the goal line as it's into the end zone for a touchback. Jamal Williams making his way back onto the field. And the good news, his team's winning. The bad news, he hasn't had the game that he's hoped to, at least to this point here in the 2nd quarter.
And a lot of that is pride, because these types of backs want to be in the center of all the action and leading their team to victory. They'll take the win right now, hoping to jump his game up as this one moves on.
He probably wants a little bit more of the spotlight going forward. And they work this well upfield across the 45. Now the Packers going to go ahead and use the 2nd of their timeouts as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. So one play, and they're already just shy of midfield.
He's checking, he's checking, he's checking. Crash, crash.
They fake the give. Now Rodgers. He'll rifle this one deep right side. And that will be incomplete. Would have been a big hitter if they had connected. Instead, it's 2nd down.
Sure, that pass was incomplete as they made an attempt to get a big one downfield. But that's okay, because the second part of that is if you don't get the completion, at least you've told the defense you're trying to stretch them out a little bit, and they may have to change accordingly.
On play action, Rodgers. It's caught here by Adams. Yeah, he's got to be out of bounds, but not before he takes it inside the 40. Give him 15 there, and the Packers have a first. Those are the kinds of plays right there that show you why he's the number 3 man in the NFL in terms of receiving yards.
Also tells you there's a full combination of what he's got going in his game. You name it, from route running to catching the football. That's why he's able to produce those types of numbers.
Throwing on first down is Rodgers. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Now the Packers going to burn their 3rd and final timeout as they stop it with 16 seconds to go in half number 1. Sacks, a growing theme in this first half. This is 2nd and long. To throw, it's Rodgers. He'll find his man on the comeback route. Complete. They had the catch on 2nd down, but it didn't help at all, and now they're looking at 3rd down here. So we've hit halftime. Just a field goal separating these two teams at the break. As we'll get you down the coast to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. Things starting to get interesting in this final weekend before Thanksgiving. So let's see what's going on around the NFL. We'll get started up at FedEx Field in our nation's capital. where you see the final score there. 31-14, the final. From there, we head out west to the Golden State. Check on the Rams at home in L.A. And for the moment, they find themselves trailing the visiting Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton with a couple of touchdown passes there. Finally, let's get to Silicon Valley to check on the 49ers at home at Levi Stadium. In that game, all square as they take on the visiting Seahawks. In our game has been Aaron Rodgers, who was on target in the first half. He's thrown for over 200 yards already, and his guys have the lead as well. As we get you back to Brandon Gaudin.
Thank you, sir. A field goal separates these two teams as we come back for this second half. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Out come the Eagles now as they'll go on offense first here in the third quarter. They're down here, but very much in this game. What's the tonality of a coach's talk when a game is within striking distance like this at intermission?
Typically, what they're doing is emphasizing the things that went well in the first half and wanting more of that. Sure, you've got to go over some of the errors and clean up some things because there's a reason you're down. But overall, I think they want to stay positive, stay up with this team. We're just starting the second half, and we've got the football. Let's go ahead and punch it in, and then we'll take it from there.
See how that recipe works. So they'll take the yardage and tack on 15 more for the face mask.
Talk about a play that absolutely costs you in the end. Just trying to do your job, right? Trying to get him on the ground. Next thing you know, they march off another 15 against your squad.
A pass there over the middle to start things out. He's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on first down. Certainly worth noting he's now one catch away from 600. He's at 599 in his career. On second down now. It's Sanders, and he'll work it inside the 30 to the 29-yard line.
I think they like this drive a little bit better there, partner. Running game helping out, picking up some of the slack. Because remember, the last drive, they went 3 and out.
They fake the give. Now Wentz. And this is incomplete.
Yeah, that one sailed on him. You've got to make sure you give your receiver a chance to come down inbounds because they are very gifted. They'll make the circus catches, but if they make them out of bounds, that does you no good.
Here's 2nd and 10 now from the 29. It's a second down run with Sanders. And this time he's going backwards. So after the no gain on the last attempt, here they get him behind the line. After seeing that, maybe time to go back to some downfield throws here.
Yeah, anything. Change it up because the teams that win, the best teams, they're the ones that make adjustments. Doesn't mean you can't come back to what you thought you could get done. Sometimes when you open things up a little bit, you can get back to what you wanted to do before.
It's caught by Sanders. 7 yards on the play, and that's going to bring up a 4th down.
Everyone's got to be able to catch the football. Doesn't matter what position you play, but if you're on offense, be aware a ball may come your way.
Bullock's kick is good, and that's going to tie us at 13. So they come away from this opening drive of the third quarter with only 3, but it does draw them even.
Yeah, and that has to be job 1, doesn't it? A touchdown definitely would have been nice. We know that. But here, you get back on even terms, and now you've got most of the second half to try and get yourself into a position to win.
So here are the Packers now. They get set for their first possession of half number 2. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. They'll try and get the running game going with Jones. And they will only muster a yard here to the 38. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
Well, we saw them there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
On 2nd and 9, Rodgers And that's complete to Adams. And he has another first down as they'll get the ball down to the Eagles' 45-yard line.
Well, for teams that like to play man coverage, running corner routes can be tough on them because of the ability of getting into it. Sometimes you're squaring it off. Sometimes you're just rounding it. Sometimes there's a fake. Sometimes there's not. That makes it very, very difficult for a DB to stay with it.
That's good for 21 yards and a first down.
Sometimes those lines that are drawn on a grease board or in a playbook, they come to life out on the field, don't they? And we just saw that on that outside handoff to the right.
That right tackle, he gets excited for that call, doesn't he?
He does, because he just wants to dominate his guy and say, listen, I was the point of attack. I took care of business. That's why you're able to get downfield and add all those yards to your total.
Yeah, really nice gain there. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. 13 yards, first down, Packers.
Well, this is where reading defenses and practice time comes into play. You've got to know what you're running versus zone versus man and how to run the proper route. And they just executed that one pretty well.
Rodgers throwing quickly out to Adams. And they'll lose yardage here. They go backwards to the 13-yard line.
Well, I know it goes against the instincts of the person catching the ball because all you're ever taught is catch the football, don't drop it.
But drop it there.
Yeah, in that situation, dropping it would have been better. End up losing yardage, even though they completed the pass.
As good as a sack.
Yeah, how about that? Although they won't get the same credit for it, and it won't help them at contract time.
On 2nd and 12, Rodgers, and he's going to take it in. Touchdown, Packers. From 13 yards out, as his guys are able to regain the lead. So that's the rookie's first trip to the end zone, and I think it's safe to say one he'll always remember.
Oh, without a doubt. That one is going to be imprinted forever. And nowadays, we're seeing rookies make a greater impact at that position at receiver than ever before. I think mainly because of the sheer volume of footballs that they catch in college.
Now Crosby for the point after. And they will take a 7-point lead now. So the drive there took 6 plays. And the result, a Green Bay score. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Carson Wentz and the Eagles getting set to take over. How do you break down his game so far? Just the one touchdown pass, but sometimes the touchdown pass stat category, that doesn't tell the whole story.
It really doesn't, not until you balance it with the error side, you know, and in this case, he hasn't thrown any interceptions. So a lot of people would call this almost a pedestrian game, kind of a bus driver game. But that's just really wrong. Being a bus driver is a good thing if you're running a football team, because that means you're in control and you're taking your team to the right places.
Yeah, he's been pretty solid. And now it's 1st and 10. A big mistake, especially when you factor in the personal foul yardage. A quick throw there out to Jeffrey. 4 yards on the pickup, and it'll be a 2nd down. Caught by the tight end Ertz. And this winds up a gain of 4 to the 41.
Well, they're unable to convert that into much, but it's never a bad idea to try to get the ball into a tight end of his caliber's hands and see what kind of disruption he can cause.
So 3rd and 2, this quite possibly 4-down territory, though, if they're stopped.
False start, offense.
So that'll back him up 5. And a manageable 3rd down becomes a lot less manageable. 3rd and 7 after the false start. On play action, it's Wentz. Open man is Taylor. He's got it. And this is going to result in another 1st down as the tackle's made at the Packers' 25-yard line. Wentz now 6 for 6 since coming back out of the locker room. It's 1st and 10. On 1st and 10, it's Sanders. Give him a couple on the carry there. 2nd and 8.
Well, we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
They'll go again with Sanders. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. They'll wind up losing 4 yards on the play. And that's going to lead to a 3rd and 12.
Let's get it.
Now Wentz on 3rd down. This is caught by Jackson. And finally down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. That reception, his 600th NFL catch. Congratulations, quite the accomplishment. They'll run with Sanders. A good run of 6 yards there, gets him closer to the goal line with 2nd down coming up.
Boy, where would these guys be without his performance on the ground? That puts him over 100 yards now for the afternoon, and I tell you, he seems to be getting stronger as the day goes along.
And they'll turn to a power game to try to get in. And he's in for an Eagles touchdown. Trey Madden, his 1st touchdown on the year, as they are an extra point away now from tying this football game. Bullet good on the extra point, and that will tie things at 20-all. So that drive goes 8 plays, and it was capped off by an Eagles touchdown. Fitting for what's been a tight ball game. We're all even at 20 now as the kick's away. This will be fielded at the 6. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line. Out comes Devontae Adams in the offense for their next drive. Pretty good game for him so far. I guess he's still got time here to make this a great game, but so far, he's been solid.
I like where you're going with that because it has been pretty good, but there's always that hint that things can really escalate for him. And right now, they feel like they're somewhat keeping him in check, but he has found the end zone once. But, boy, he can explode at any moment.
Yeah, and when you hit that end zone once, you want to find it again, don't you?
Yes, you do.
Makes you hungrier.
You get greedy in a good way.
On 1st and 10, here's Rodgers. That's caught. It's Robert Tonyan, the tight end. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. 13 yards, first down, Packers. They'll run on first down. It's Jones. A solid run on first down. Gain of 7 leaves him with a 2nd and 3.
Well, no matter how they phrase it, staying on schedule, staying ahead of the sticks, whatever you want to call it, 7 yards on first down, that fits the bill.
Again, it's Jones. And that one blown up quickly, as he's going to be stopped before he could even get started. So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his 3rd down play as we played 3 quarters. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. The Packers on 3rd down. They've hit it 50%, 3 of 6 to this point. This will be 3rd and 6. From the gun, it's Rodgers. It's caught. Smith. And he will be very close to a first down, but I see the closed fist of the referee, and that means 4th down.
So much about offense is what you call hidden yardage. You know, you throw the ball to someone, they catch it, and then they can make a big play. You know, they create a play, run after catch. They did a really nice job there of limiting that and keeping him from a first down.
Yeah, stopped him in his tracks. Now it's Rodgers. The open man is Smith. And he'll take this into the end zone. Now, hold on here. We do have a flag down. So let's see what this is about. Late game, that hurts. Take the touchdown off the board.
No doubt about it, and this is where you make a great movie scene, right? Go in, rally the team. Okay, we lost points there. Let's get it back and go out and score again. Can he get it done?
This is away, but boy, headed straight for the sidelines. And no return possible here as they angle this one out of bounds. Getting set to go again as we look at the back, heading onto the field again. And we have seen a decline in the numbers. Where does the fault lie? Just him? Maybe the guys up front? Combination?
Well, as you and I both know, it's almost always a collective deal. But in this case, I think maybe the offensive line got a little overconfident. They had blocked so well in the first half, picked up on what the defense was doing. I think we've seen an adjustment now that they have not picked up on, and now they're being a little bit overwhelmed.
And never good on a pass completion there to go the wrong way. Lost yardage.
No, for some reason it seems to work better when you throw it downfield or you can move the ball downfield running it that way, doesn't it? But in this case, if you're the defensive guys, you're energized, executed well, and you caused a lost yardage play. That's going to feel good and look great in film.
The Eagles on 3rd down. 2 for 5 to this point. Here it's 3rd and 3. And he went nowhere. He'll lose yardage back to the 29. He went backwards 5 yards there on 3rd down to bring up 4th.
Well, that's the big drawback to this play. Even if somehow the quarterback pitches it, he's not immune to the big hit. In this case, he kept it and absorbed it anyway.
Taken in at the 11. A good return there, 17 yards. And it'll be Packer football here. First down and 10. Now the Packers get set to go. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
They'll start out on the ground with Jones. And he's taken down but able to slip across the 35. 11 yards and a Green Bay Packer first down.
Oh, that's one to warm the heart. Of all those old school football players, isn't it? Tough, hard, gritty run, got behind his pads, bowled over a few people. Look at that one, right up the gut.
So after 3 quarters, no reason to lighten up now. We saw a number of good games earlier today. This one might top all of those. It's been a dandy as we come up on 1st and 10. Now Rodgers. Got a man. It's Tanyan complete. No gain there on the completion. 2nd and 10.
Well, that was a simple throw and catch, but even with that completion, 0 yards gained, so they're behind schedule on down and distance.
I think they were hoping to get it to him. He could make a man or two miss, but that window closed quickly. Had the completed pass, but for no gain, stopped right at the line, so it's 2nd and 10. Rodgers going to throw. And a quick throw here, that's complete. Only 3 yards on the catch. It's 3rd down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
Throwing is Rodgers on 3rd down. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. The completion good for only 6, and that'll bring up 4th.
In today's football, where receivers break tackles, make people miss, get upfield for the extra yardage, when you see a play like that where it's caught and he's dropped on the spot, that's a big-time play by the defense.
On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. And that one hits a little too close to the goal line, and it continues into the end zone for a touchback. The Eagles coming out as they get ready, and they're coming off a 3-and-out, my friend.
I think they've got to look at that play sheet and go to a spot that they haven't gone before. Time to shake things up a little bit to try and get this offense moving.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you shake things up?
You look at what you called before, realize it hasn't worked.
Go to something else.
And maybe try and find one of those special plays from one of your better players, and maybe try and hit something big and get things going in the excitement area.
From up near the 40 now after the big play to start, here's another 1st and 10. Shotgun now for Wentz. And he finds his tight end. It's Ertz.
I think it's okay there. They didn't get a whole lot on that play, but it's nice to have a safety valve that's built like this guy. Big target, guy you can spot pretty easily. Put it on him when your other targets aren't open.
So 2nd and 8 here after the pass play for 2 yards on 1st down. Wentz on the give to Sanders. It'll go as a gain of 7 on the play, and it sets up a 3rd and inches situation.
That was a good run, probably right on the edge of breaking into something really big. So the defensive guys right now are talking about, okay, what can we do to slow him down before he truly gets started?
And taking it across midfield and just shy of the 40. 10 yards there and an Eagle 1st down.
But sometimes, Brent, there's just not a secret to how things get done. He's been running well all game long, and they continue to rely on him in this key situation.
They told us they were going to rely on him. They have. He comes through there, a big 3rd down conversion. On 1st down, Sanders. And the lane closes up quickly as he'll get about 3 down to the 38.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Call it a gain of a couple, and that's going to leave them with a 3rd and about 5.
Well, so many times we look at a short run and we praise the offense for trying to set the tempo and establish things, but the defensive guys, hey, they just won the battle there. It wasn't a big run given up. They don't always have to absorb the body blows. Sometimes they dish them out themselves.
Throwing now is Wentz. And Jeffrey's got it. And finally down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. He's such a good route runner. Shows it there on 3rd down. Very proficient and a good pass.
And you know what I've observed over the years in the NFL? The better a route runner you are, the more confidence your guy's going to have in you to go to you in important times because he can trust you being in the right spot, and they connected there and picked up a 1st down.
A field goal could get him the lead, but it might not be enough here as they come up on 1st and goal. Now Sanders, and he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Miles Sanders, his 9th touchdown of the season, as his guys have taken the lead here in the final 2 minutes.
And that score deserves our respect, deserves our excitement. But I'm looking at the clock, and I'm thinking, there's a long way to go in this one.
Ideally, they would have liked to milk a little bit more time off. Now on the other sideline, you start to get the crew together and say, this is what we practiced the 2-minute drill for, right?
Yeah, you hope you've been in that situation before, and if you haven't, you just have the confidence, hey, let's go down there and get this thing done. But, boy, that's a big score right there to give them the advantage.
So now Rodgers in the pack. Down 27-20, a minute 54 on the clock. They've won 3 in a row, but they've got work to do if they want to get a 4th in a row as they come up on first down.
Check, check. Watch 54. Watch 54. Wrap it.
Hey, Foxtrot.
Watch my board.
Off the play fake to Jones. Here's Rodgers. Oh, there's that man again. It's complete. That one goes for 36 yards.
I know we love our jobs, and pretty much any play we see, we're pretty, excited about. But big plays, let's face it, that's what we absolutely live for. How about that one?
That was great, and what our camera missed was the fist pump from the sideline after that catch. They're fired out. That's a big game. They'll look to throw. And that is incomplete. Showed off the arm strength there, but to no avail. Second down. That would have been a tough catch, but in this 2-minute drill, those are the ones you really hope your guys come up with.
Yeah, you don't want your guy to be able to take the out because it was a tough catch. You needed him to come up with that one, because if he does, it alters the perspective of this 2-minute drill, doesn't it?
They try to throw on second down, but this one is incomplete. 3rd and long coming up. Defensively, you pressure the quarterback or drape all over the passing lane?
Yes, that's exactly what you do. It's both, because they're not mutually exclusive. They may have been at one time in football, but not anymore. You want to have that pressure. And if you have a big-time pass rusher, send him after the quarterback, and then make sure you blanket the field.
Big play coming up. Here's 3rd and 10.
I would expect to see some pressure here.
The pressure drops off as they'll look to throw. And he can't get a throw away. He's taken down. Derek Barnett in there to drop him as that clock continues to run.
Brandon, I think you understand the type of afternoon this offensive line is having. It is a long one for them. Long for you to spend it with me. Long for them trying to block those guys. They've given up a whole lot of sacks, and the speed and quickness of that defensive line is eating them alive.
Now they go for it on 4th, but this one is going to wind up incomplete. They had to go for it with such little time remaining, and the Eagles defense able to hold. So now let's reset here, Charles. They do have 2 timeouts left, so they can stop the clock twice. This one's not quite over yet.
No, and what you're doing on defense, you're going to use both timeouts, obviously. The issue early, meaning you want that play over fast. You don't want to give them time to dance around in the backfield or run a wide sweep. They'll take off time. Blitz them, put pressure on them, make sure that play ends quickly so that you can go ahead and keep moving.
Another run here with Sanders. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. The Eagles, and you look back over the score sheet, interesting. A very clean game, no turnovers by either side.
An absolute rarity when we watch games now, because defenses have put such an emphasis on taking the ball away. Well, what we saw here was offenses spending their time saying, look, you know they're coming for it. Ball security is paramount. So they worked on that, not just a week of practice, but I'm sure all during training camp. Make sure when you have it, tuck it away, because danger lurks everywhere you turn.
So for the Eagles, the win gets them a step closer to 500 at 5-6. And they'll get to stay home again next week. Meanwhile, for Green Bay, it's a loss that could hurt them come playoff seeding time as they drop to 8-3. And they'll try to rebound next week on the road in Nashville. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Alongside Charles Davis, we thank our entire crew. I'm Brandon Gaudin. This is the NFL on EA Sports.